I'm just a country boy with a video camera. So, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's do it. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back again to another episode of Talking Bibles. I am Beau Tate, your host. Today, I have Melinda Bouma. She is Vice President and Publisher for Zondervan Bibles. One of my favorite people. We're going to have a fun conversation and talk about a bunch of cool stuff. So, Melinda, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Beau. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We've been having a lot of fun with this Talking Bibles series. It's been really refreshing to me. There's several things I want to talk about with you. So, the biggest topic on the horizon that a lot of people are looking forward to now is the Thompson Chain Productions from Zondervan. Now, that is incredible. There's so many people that love the Thompson Chain, and it has been such a vital study tool for so many. It's such a positive outlook that knowing that Zondervan is going to be taking this, and you specifically are taking this. Can you kind of tell me about how that came about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's kind of like anything in this industry where we're all pretty closely connected in some levels, and you just hear from people how they're doing. And we really just heard from, some of our team members to say, hey, maybe let's just connect with them and see how we could become a part of the legacy of Thompson Chain. And so, we're thrilled about that because it's a stewardship responsibility for sure that we feel, because to your point, this is such a beloved Bible, right? That people have enjoyed, that they have grown from for so long. And so we, just worked out together what would be best for everybody. And yeah, we're thrilled. Like it's very exciting to us and to members of our team who grew up using the Thompson Chain.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know if that answers.
I'm jazzed. I have several Zondervan productions right in front of me on my table. And those of you who are watching from home, you can't really see it because I have it zoomed in. I have NASBs. I have NIVs. I have other editions to see the level of production value where those editions were 5-10 years ago to where they are now. The outlook for the Thompson Chain is just so great. Such an endearing study system that has such a charming quality to it. I mentioned that in a Talking Bibles episode previously that this edition is going to live on. There's a stigma about study Bibles and study systems because references and chain references especially, people can criticize whether those are legitimate or whatnot, but regardless of your opinion on this, the Thompson Chain has been proven for a long time. So I'm just really thankful it's going to be reinvigorated. I think that's the best way I could put it.
Yes, and I'm glad for that. And I mean, that's our goal, right? Anything that we publish, we hold ourselves to the same standard throughout our publishing, components, right? So what the quality you see on other editions, the type of paper, the style of ink, the colors of ink, that's what you can expect in the Thompson Chain and anything else we publish in the future. So I'm glad. It's been fun to see in the Bible enthusiast community the strong, warm reception. That means a lot to us. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw Randy's interview with you, or I read Randy's interview with you, and he asked some great questions that I kind of wanted to reemphasize the future timeline for the Thompson Chain here for our viewers. There's a lot more there, guys. I'm going to link Randy's interview with Melinda in the description below. So go down there and check that out. Also, while you're there, subscribe to Randy's channel. He's awesome. I love him. One thing that he brought up, which I like, was 2K Denmark. Are they going to kind of get involved with the font design for the Thompson Chain? And the first productions of the Thompson Chain, are they going to be in the traditional layout and font, or are we going to wait until we have a 2K Denmark version?
Great question. So this June already, so this year, just a couple months away, we're going to have 16 SKUs available using the traditional layout or the classic, what it has been, using the Kirkbride layout. So that'll be wonderful. The only change we're making is the red letter color.
It's been pink forever. And thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah, we have a standard red that we use. So we're going to bring it in line with our publishing in that regard. But then, starting a year from now, we will have the NIV in the Thompson Chain, which has been not available for a long time. So that'll be our first comfort print release. So that's when you'll see our fonts, maybe a redesign, maybe not. Like,
Yeah.
we're not sure. You know,
Yeah.
these are the questions we work through, right? So,
And we're going to talk about the comfort print in the next episode. But one thing I really want to hit on with the comfort print is that each comfort print font has its own specific, special character, its own kind of personality. Klaus and his team at Tuca Denmark do an amazing job. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Like, I could imagine the Thompson Chain and it would be closer to the NASB because of the scholarly kind of, more Arial kind of font design that you would see in college, or you know what I'm saying. So it seems really cool.
I see.
I'm not sure. I'm just interested to see Klaus's, take on the Thompson Chain for his inspiration in font design. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. It's going to be great.
You know what, Beau? And this is such a fascinating conversation, because I just realized we are not, I don't think, thinking the same things here. And this is where it's really important to talk Bibles, because different terms mean different things to different people, right?
Yeah.
So we're not designing a typeface for the Thompson Chain.
Okay.
We are using our existing, like the NIV Thompson Chain will have the NIV comfort
Oh, that's
print.
a great point. Okay.
Yes, the NASB Thompson Chain would have the NASB comfort print. So
Okay. Thank you for clarifying
Yes.
that, because I would have completely messed that up. So now we're talking about kind of tying and weaving in these, the relationship between publisher and the community. I know we've talked about the community several times already. What is the relationship that you find as a publisher in this day and time with this Bible community, and kind of what's your take on the Bible community?
So we love the Bible community. I mean, this is such a gift. I've worked in publishing, Bible publishing specifically, for 18 years. And when I began, we didn't have as tight of a direct connection to our readers, right? And so we would receive feedback, but it wasn't as immediate. It wasn't as personal, as in being able to hear someone say, I'm struggling with this because of this. Like, this is how I use it. Or I love this because I use it this way. And so we just look at this like, it is so cool that there are people who love the Bible so much, like we do in our jobs, right? And we people who work in Bible publishing, they love the Bible. And so just to know that's a mutual kind of shared love and admiration for God's word, and that we want the packaging or how you put it together to try to get as beautiful as possible to match. It'll never match the beauty of God's word, right? But just to bring that elegance and gravitas towards this, because this is not just a book. This is a very, very special word. That's and right. So, we love it. I love the immediate feedback. For all of you whoever posts things like, oh, I wish I could tell Zondervan or Nelson, these things.
You are.
We see those.
You are.
Yeah, you
are.
It's fantastic. So we just really love that. And in fact, Beau, if I could, I even have one example of a time that the community helped us.
Awesome.
Kind of change course, right? So when I think about the NRSV, when we launched that, we worked with Klaus and 2K to create a dynamic typeface that was rooted in history, that fit the NRSV personality, and we loved it, thought it was perfect, and we published. And we quickly heard from people in the groups that, wow, they loved it, but the lowercase g, the letter G, was standing out to them. Mm-hmm. And in any good typeface, no letter actually jumps out above the others. And it was tripping people up. Yeah. And so we were able to quickly adapt and change and, I guess, improve that, right? Like, we wouldn't have seen that as a problem until we heard people say, I'm struggling.
That's so encouraging. That's so good to hear. I don't just see myself as a reviewer. And I've talked about this with Randy, our different roles as influencers. And I say that really loosely. Like, don't let me influence you at all. I'm there with you. I'm here alongside you. My roles, I feel, is more as a consumer advocate, where I want to ensure that, the consumer's getting the best possible reading experience the best possible product that they can get, because I know the better the product they get, the more they're going to spend time in their Bible, and the deeper they're going to be as a disciple of Christ. So I see it as a ministry, but it's so encouraging when I see publishers and marketing people and design people that are really involved in this community. That's so encouraging, knowing that they have the same wants that I want, so that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
You could have very easily have dismissed the complaints about the lowercase g, and you still could. And it just points to the integrity that you have in your position and the way you lead your team at Zondervan. I really applaud that. I know there's a few other cases helping persuade design choices, whether it's, I know we had talked about, viewing things as a publisher versus viewing things as a reader, that in its own right, you go to the drawing board and you have a design, you've put in all this work for this design, and then you kind of look at it at a different angle and go, okay, it's not good enough. You have a really big choice to make. You can either proceed with it knowing it's not as good as it could be, or you can have the community in mind and a higher level of professionalism and craftsmanship in mind and revise it. And I know that you've pointed out to me that has happened, before with Zondervan. So I'm really thankful with that.
Yeah, Beau, it's really interesting because I look at that as what Randy said really well in one of the episodes, because I've been loving these Talking Bibles episodes. He talked about balancing the compromises. And that's, in Bible publishing especially, that is kind of every decision you're having to do that, right? Like our favorite request is when people ask us for a giant print, but like compact size they can take with them. Those things just don't go together very naturally or easily.
Exactly.
And so to your point, yes, when we listen, we try to, we always think through the feedback and does this make sense based on the goal of this particular edition? Can we solve that need in a different Bible? But it's just always working through balancing all the objectives.
You make a great point. I mean, you really do, because that's a perspective we don't understand. We think we know, balancing, there's a lot of wants. I want 1,000 GSM paper. I want 12-point font, but I want it to be an inch thick. I want single column verse by verse, all these things. It's an impossible combination of qualities. To achieve what you guys have achieved is really a mark of excellence. And we're gonna get into publishing trends in another episode. I want to talk about that too. But I want to talk about your life as a publisher. Now, I've used this analogy hopefully correctly. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I've said that being a publisher is very much like being an executive producer for a movie. Like where you have to line up the talent. You have to line up the scripts. You have to approve this, approve that. You have to make sure that the material's right. You have to get quality control going. You have to do all these things to make this thing happen. Can you shed light on this to me? What is being a publisher?
Sure. That is a great way to describe it. To be honest, I would say it is like an executive producer in that sense. I think each publisher determines how hands-on or not they're going to be, right? So when you talk about lining up the concept from start to finish, I love to lean into that. I've grown up reading the Bible. I love the Bible. I get really energized thinking that every time we publish something different, it might help someone overcome a reason they're not in the Word. And so that really gets me out of bed in the morning, to be honest.
That's awesome.
I love to be part of that. But our marketing team also does a lot of work in that area. We've talked about these community groups online here, but just let me shout out, Bob Gaudette and Joel Lawrence are two that you all know. There are many others working behind the scenes here with us with Joel and Bob and our editors who all love this as well. So we like to do this together. It is about lining up the right talent. If you have the right team, then as a publisher, I don't know how to say this really well, but I guess you can be a part of it without having to drive all of it.
Yeah.
So I think this will come into play as we talk about a couple other topics. But for instance, our design team, hands down, amazing. Of course, I'm biased. I would say they're the best in the business. But also Jenna, the woman that gives our creative direction. She is phenomenal. And that's where it really starts. Our production team that we work so closely with. You know, when you talk about just really great quality and what you can trust will come with Zondervan Bibles, that's not something I have to, as a publisher, personally oversee. That's just how it is for me. I love to be part of the concepting, driving innovation like Comfort Print or Premier Collection. That definitely happens at the publisher level. But I see my job, honestly, as finding really great talent. I'm part of a team that does that. We work together. And then I really support, equip, and encourage them to do what they do best.
That's called Leadership 101. Everybody, if you're watching and you want to be a leader one day, listen to Melinda. She's teaching you right now how to be a leader. We try to emphasize these same principles, within the Bible community, as far as everything Bibles and some of the other groups. You have great people, to help, and you empower them and you trust them.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
that's so encouraging to see with you, Melinda, and all you folks who are enjoying your Premier Collection edition. It wouldn't have happened without Melinda. So you can thank Melinda for that, and I'm thanking you for that because it has been such a revitalization of my love for the NIV, especially. Part of the reading experience is visceral. It's physical. For me, it is, and I could never get into the digital reading medium myself. It just never hooked me like holding a Bible in my hand.
Yep.
Holding my NIV, editions was always like a little bit of a letdown once I had a Crossway. And that was one of the principal reasons for moving to the ESV was just I had more enjoyment from reading. I'm really thankful for the Premier Collection, mainly because I've really enjoyed the NIV more. And kind of my new favorite, my new babe, is the NIV Study Bible. And we're going to talk about that in another episode as well. But I would have never really dug into the NIV Study Bible had it not been for the Premier Collection opening the door to me really getting into the NIV, along with the Comfort Print. And we're going to talk about that next episode. So all you guys, we're talking about all these things we're going to be talking about. Stay tuned for more episodes with Melinda. So I'm really excited, Melinda. Your leadership as a publisher, it should be the model that other publishers should strive to do. So keep doing what you're doing. It's really paying off dividends for financially for Zondervan, as well as with people like me, who I wouldn't have jumped back into the NIV had it not been for all the work that you and your team have done. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Beau. I just want to say one thing, though. Premier Collection, I am uncomfortable taking credit because I cannot take sole credit. In fact, Nikki Getman from Thomas Nelson was a large part of that initial discoverability and all that went into it, as well as so many others. So thanks for your kind words. But again, it's a team effort.
I agree. Yes, and Nikki's amazing. I've had an interview with them in Nashville, and I hope one day to make it up to Michigan to see you guys.
Yes.
And it was really awesome to meet them, and they're like
Cool.
they're like the twin sisters, you know what I mean? Like it's Zondervan and Thomas Nelson under the HarperCollins umbrella have just really blossomed. Well, look, I want to jump into some lightning round if you want to. All right, so are you ready, Melinda?
I'm ready.
All right, so first lightning round question is going to be kind of simple, but not so much. I want to know the favorite Bible that you have produced. It's a question that I couldn't answer. I've never produced a Bible. Most people watching this can't, so I think it's really an interesting perspective. So what you got?
Man, that's like picking a favorite child, That's hard. I'm proud of all the work, but the one that probably personally blessed me the most and I had so much fun developing was the Beautiful Word Bible. We saw a need kind of arising in the market, or not even a need, actually. By the way, the job of the publisher, I feel, is twofold, and I just want to say this quick, too. It's about hearing from readers what they want and then delivering that, but sometimes it's about giving readers something they want and need that they don't know yet they want or need. And so that's what happened with Beautiful Word, was we saw women just loving this, really a style of reflection and prayer and honor back to God by drawing in their Bible. And we realized we could help give the masses, like a broad group of women, the encouragement and freedom to do so, and a kind of a template for how to do it. So that was fun for me because I'm not artistic.
That's awesome. I got a chance to review that Bible and give one away, and it was great because, like you said, it's such an amazing medium that the audience is humongous. It's bigger than you might even most people would even suspect. When you bring it up, it's really awesome to see, because a lot of women might not feel comfortable drawing. So now you give them the art already drawn that they can still take part in. That's really awesome.
Exactly.
All right, next question. Favorite verse?
Okay. John 15:13.
That's
just
a good one.
For some reason, starting in high school and beyond, has been my favorite verse. Greater love has no one than this, than they laid down their life for their friends. That's not a direct quote because I published so many translations.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not show a favorite in how I quote it, but that just has always stuck with me.
That's a great one. I love that one. Bible marking. Now, we just talked about beautiful words, so I know you're a fan of Bible marking. So, do you underline? Do you highlight? What do you do? How do you interact with your Bible?
Yes, now I underline. In high school and college, I was a big highlighter.
Okay.
So, I also write. I do take notes in my Bible.
All right.
I'm a big writer.
All right. So if you had to pick one, what would be your kind of your jam right now?
Right now, notes.
Notes?
Adding notes.
Okay. So writing's a good medium. What pen do you use? You use Pigma Microns?
You know what? I am not a pen person, but I am going to become one.
Okay.
Because these communities have taught me so much. I didn't even know there were best pens to use on Bible paper. Isn't that crazy to think about as a
Well, that's
Bible
okay.
person? But
we
I
learn
just
every
use what's
day.
in my purse.
We learn every day. That's fine. Well, there's some
true.
pens that are a little bit better that we'll have to get you some of those pens, sister.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds
Well, great.
good.
The next episode, we're going to talk about cover print font. So, as kind of a prep for that, tell me your favorite cover print font. I know you can't say a favorite translation, but you got to have a favorite font.
Probably my favorite typeface that we've made is the NIV one because it has the most opportunity to kind of play with it as a tool and create the best possible. Like the larger the typeface, don't use the open letters, but the smaller the typeface, use them because it actually creates even higher levels of readability.
Well, I'm encouraged by that because as good of a publisher you are, you're not afraid to be wrong, and that's okay. Because the NASB is the best, and that's just simple facts.
Hey, that's okay. That can be your opinion.